Out. Look at that. Let's see. How do I switch this camera around? All right. There we go. And we're live. Nice. What's up, soil family? My urban gardeners, my soil brothers, and my soil sisters. This is Urban Gardening with Gray, and this is my first live stream. Today, we are going to be taking a look at a raised bed garden that I am putting together. There we go. So, this is my second raised bed garden. I already have one that I grew a lot of crops in over the summer and the fall. I want to put a second one in. And if you're asking, well, why are you putting in a second one? Well, my logic behind that is I want to, what's up, nature and nurture? You know what? It might be good if I add my microphone on here so you guys can hear me better. Let's try that. All right, let me get a mic check. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Can you hear me? Test. All right. All right. There we go. We're good to go now. We have the microphone all set up. So, yes, like I was saying before, this is my new raised bed garden. Putting in a second one because I realized something when I was growing in the summer. Different plants take different plants take different plants take different soil. Different plants take different soil. And I have killed my last blueberry plant, my blueberry bush. What I did is I didn't realize by adding my ash, my wood ash that I added to my garden, it was great for the tomatoes. The tomatoes loved adding the ash to the garden box, but my blueberries didn't like it at all. It actually ended up making the soil too alkaline. It took away the acidity from the soil, and blueberries being a plant that actually appreciates an acidic soil, it didn't like that at all, and I ended up killing it. So I realized something. I need multiple planting areas for my plants that take different types of soil. So let's take a look at the design on this new planter box. I'm doing it in a U shape because I want to be able to come into this raised bed garden, and I want to be able to easily walk in without trouncing around. Yes, pH definitely does matter. I want to be able to trounce around in the garden without compacting the soil. So this is going to be our second planter box. All right. So with that being said, first couple of minutes in this video is going to be me just honestly finishing up this last board that I need to drill into place. And then of course, after that, if you have any questions or anything, I'll be answering them along the way. But let's go ahead and get to building. All right. And I have my microphone on. Hopefully the microphone's working so you can actually hear me while I'm doing this. There we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take these clamps and clamp it down so that I can put this drill this last board in place. I can get a nice foothold here, but I happen to try to hold the board while I'm drilling. Now the screws I have for this build are way too long, but I already had them on hand. And it looks like the wind does not want to play games with us today. It's a super windy day. Of course, the weather is always going to play a factor when you're trying to do a live video outside, right? All right. Give us just a moment. I appreciate your patience. Let's try that one more game. All right. Come on, wind. Work with it, brother. All right, let's just move the camera. That way you can get a better angle anyway. All right. There we go. We got a little bit of a better angle. Yes, Urban Harvest, you're right. It is super windy today. It's like the wind said, hey, you gonna do a live? Okay, let's go ahead and blow everything down. Yeah, I say the weather out here in Texas is bipolar. You really never know what this weather gonna be like. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to take this opportunity while the wind is down a little bit and drill this board in place for the wind blowing it down again. And you get a nice, beautiful shot of my back while we're getting this last board in place. So, while you guys are looking along, I want to see if you can answer me a question. What you growing when the spring comes around? I would like to know. Yeah, I'm not going to be putting anything in the soil just yet. But I have grand ambitions. Like Tupac, I have ambitions as a gardener. Ha! That's a song right there. I won't deny it, I'm a straight gardener. You don't want to plant with me. Y'all don't know nothing about that. On my showing my age. Boom, there we go. We got one side anchored in. Now, normally when I'm building something with wood, of course, I throw some wood glue or something like that, or some kind of sealer. But this is cedar. It is rot resistant. Remember, I said rot resistant, not rot proof. But I plan to line the whole thing with a little bit of a plastic barrier. Let's see. Switch that angle. And I assure you, next time we do this live, we are going to be way better prepared. It's a learning experience. All right. So, yeah. So, again, I'm going to grab my clamp this blank down in place. And hey, in case you're wondering, hey, great, where did you get your wood from? Well, these are actually fence posts. These are cedar fence posts. Cedar and lumber as a whole is super expensive right now. So to get around the cost, what I did is I just bought some cedar fence planks from one of my local hardware stores, and I just cut the beveled edges off the top, and I'm going to use this as my wood. I mean, it was like $367, but it's cedar, so it's rot resistant, so it's good to build a raised bed out of. But it cut the cost down a little. Yeah, it's not as thick as I would like, but I mean, it's not like I'm doing a 10-foot by 3-foot raised bed where you're gonna have a lot of pressure pushing up against these walls. So they should be fine for the plants that I'm gonna be growing. Let's get this next hole in place. What we're doing is we're putting pilot holes in. In case you're wondering why you put pilot holes in, if you're not familiar with woodworking or building, you put pilot holes in so that you don't end up splitting your wood. So that's what I'm doing. Throwing these pilot holes in and throwing my last few couple of screws in place. I'm gonna move that clamp. Move that clamp out of the way, because now that I got that one screw in, so yeah, chat. I'm gonna take a look at the chat in a moment to see what you guys growing this spring. I want to know. Uh, like the singer Joe says, I want to know. I want to know what you want to grow. All right. In the meantime, while I'm wanting to know, let's take a look at the final result. All right, boom. It's all anchored into place, and we're ready to go. Now, the only thing about this planter box, as you can see, the soil that I'm sitting on is it's a little uneven. It's not level. We live on a expansive land that is we have a creek behind us. Matter of fact, you want to take a look at the creek? Check out the creek with me. So we have a creek, and because we have this creek, if you know anything about erosion, about the way land is always shifting on you, it is always shifting around on us. That's the fact of the matter. Let's see if we can get a good shot of the creek for you guys. There we go. Now you see we got it. It's a little bit stagnant right now. It's not really moving. But since we have this creek, it actually makes the ground shift around pretty good on us. Now with that being said, this planter box, I probably should have used nails for my fasteners as opposed to screws, because you want something that's gonna bend and move as the ground shifts. But I mean, fact of the matter is, I used what I had on hand. I'm a firm believer in sustainability. There we go, we're connected again. All right, just okay. Can you hear me now, guys? Can you hear me now? Oh, now you can't see me. That's all right, because you're just here for the work, right? So what we need to do is we need to see about trying to level this off. Oh, so we need to see if we can level this off so that we can get this not so crooked. I mean, as far as the plants are concerned, they won't care, but I mean, it's aesthetically pleasing. You got to be able to have some sense of symmetry. Oh, also, the spot that I'm standing in right here, what I'm planning on putting right here is I'm going to put a little bit of pond liner, and I'm going to put some flagstone and a little bit of pebbles in there, so I make it easier to walk around, and plus pretty to place up just a little bit. But in the meantime, let's get this shovel and let's see if we can level this land off a little bit, okay? Oh, did any of you guys actually? Greg can look at this chat. Ambitions as a planner, yep. Oh, okay, urban harvest. You said you're doing peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes. Nice. That's his ambitions as a planner. Nice. Teddy and Jocelyn says I need to do that song. Yeah, ambitions as a planner, right? All right. Yeah, this wind ain't playing with us. All right, so let's go ahead and see about leveling this ground off so that we can make this thing look good. So first thing I'm going to do, since I did not anchor it to the ground, just pick it up. Now you get to see all my Hulk-like strength. And I'm going to lean it back here. Like Joe, lean back, right? Oh, there's that wind. There we go. There's that wind. Texas ain't playing today. But by hook or by crook, we're going to do this live video, you dig? All right. Now what I'm going to do is just take this roofing spade and try to dig down just a little bit so we can level off our ground. After we level it off pretty good, we can then start adding all of our fun stuff. You see, I'm just scraping off the top layer. I don't need to move a bunch of soil, but just enough. Just in the high points. If any of you are prior Army, kind of like, or prior military, it's like putting on camouflage. All you're focusing on is the high points. Just your high spots. And this, we just need to level because this is actually our low point right here. But here's our little divot. We're trying to level down. There we go. All right. Now let's take a see. Flip this bad boy back over, huh? There we go. Go gadget arms. Still needs to be shimmed a little bit. So we're gonna see if we can take some bricks to kind of prop it up just a little bit. So bear with me just a minute, go and get some bricks. One beautiful thing is I always have an excess amount of building materials around for when my home was built. Instead of throwing that stuff away, like, now I can use it, son. And as they say in The Lion King, the king has returned. All right, see if we can shim this up a little bit. Yeah, see, that's already looking better. Now that we've shimmed it up, it looks a little bit more level. Let's grab a level just to make sure. I'm a stickler for the details. Now, let's go into this messy garage. Oh, y'all not supposed to hear that. Urban Gardener and Gray, you're supposed to have a completely organized garage. I know. There we go. I'm a level. Let's see if we're level. All right. Let's see. Still needs to come up. Still need to level off a little bit more. Yeah, we need to go up a little bit higher. See. Yeah, stack it up a little bit more. There we go. And that kind of did it. All right, at least in this middle section. So this wall over here, right here, still needs to come up just a little bit. I'm thinking 2 more bricks on each corner, and that should level it out. All right, and there we go. We're back. Guess who's back? Urban Gardener is back. He is back. He is back. He is back. All right. Boom. There we go. Let's see. And that's just a little high. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add a little force majeure there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's see. I'm looking at the camera because you guys can see if it's level or not too. Yeah, it's a little bit higher. Let's see if we can do this. All right. Let's see how that looks. No, I dipped it too much. There we go. Not really digging this, yo. All right, let's see. We're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. Sometimes this is all just guesswork and a learning process, right? Let's see. It looks a little bit better. Yeah. That'll do. That'll do. That'll do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to take bricks along this low side and use these bricks to kind of level off or close in the gaps down at the bottom of the raised bed. But while we're getting bricks, time for me to give you a little bit of urban gardening facts. Why do gardeners use raised beds? Well, it's a really good question. Raised beds, one, using raised beds allows you to go in and out of the garden as necessary. Just like I was saying before, you can move around in the garden and you don't have to worry about stepping all on the ground and compacting your soil. You want your soil to be as loose and as airy as possible, because if you have compacted soil, those roots can't really stretch out like they need to. And then something to think about, plants need both oxygen, water, and soil to grow. So if you're eliminating oxygen by compacting the soil, you're not going to get that good of a yield. So that's one reason why we use raised beds. Another reason to use raised beds, better on your back. You know, I don't know about you. I got a birthday coming up, and once you get past the 30s, everything starts breaking down on you. So my back is not the strongest in the world, just because of the fast and furious lifestyle that I lived when I was in my 20s. So bending over, getting down on our knees, it actually is quite a pain. So using raised beds allows you to be able to work smarter as opposed to working harder. Third reason why we use raised beds is because in these upcoming spring months that's going to be coming soon, you have a chance of having warmer soil. Because one thing to take into consideration, I think the ambient temperature of the earth is about 50 to 55 degrees or so. So when you're growing in the soil, if you're not past, like, it depends on your area, it depends on your growing zone, but if you're not at least between 3 to 6 inches past the frost zone, you're going to end up making it look easy. Oh, thanks. If you're not below the frost zone, you won't be able to you end up killing your plants. So by having a raised bed, you raise it up a little bit and you can have a little bit warmer soil, so you can start your garden in the spring a lot easier. Um, so that's the key reasons for using raised beds. Plus, one more additional. Now, some gardeners use them, some don't, but it allows you to put irrigation into your watering system. So, like setting up irrigation hoses, you can put irrigation hoses down there. You can put your water directly to the roots as opposed to just pouring it on the top. Put it down with the roots where the plants need it. And then you can top the whole thing off with some gardening fabric, and it keeps that moisture in and allows those plants to thrive. One more thing, I think it's better on pests too, because when you're in a raised bed, you can actually have visibility to see those pests as they come and try to conquer them. I don't know about you, but last summer, my garden was doing great. It was doing fantastic. I had some amazing summer squash that was growing. The leaves were just fantastic. It was beautiful. It was like a gardening oasis. Then I had some squash vine borers that got in. They got into my cucumbers, they got into my squash, and within a week's time, they had eliminated the whole entire garden. It was heartbreaking. Like seriously, it was like a boys to men moment. I just wanted to get down on bending knee, start crying, because when you put all that work into your babies, you don't want to see pests come in. I mean, it is nature, but you don't want to see pests come in and just kill your whole crop, especially if you're trying to be sustainable and you're trying to live off of that food. So using raised beds, especially something like cedar. Cedar is another thing. It keeps a lot of bugs away. The smell keeps a lot of bugs away as well. So that's why we use these cedar fence planks. So if you're thinking about putting in a raised bed, make sure you definitely go with some cedar fence planks. You can actually even use pressure treated lumber too. I know a lot of people said no, don't use pressure treated lumber or pine because anything touches soil, it'll start, you know, leaching into the soil. Well, just recently I found out that the chemicals used for pressure treated lumber has changed. So it's not using arsenic anymore in its pressure treating process. Um, Urban Harvest is here on here. Could you tell me what was the other chemical they used to be using in the pressure treating process? While we're waiting for him to answer, yeah. So you can still use pressure treated lumber now, and it'll come out a lot cheaper, and it'll again be rot resistant, not rot proof, because anything that touches the soil is going to rot. That's decomposition 101. So when we get this bad boy ready, we're going to put some plastic liner, some like 3 mil plastic liner on the inside to stop these walls from breaking down on us. I mean, now grant over time, I will have to come in and do some, maintenance on the box itself, but we want to try to keep it maintained as long as possible. Make sense? All right. So now that we got this pseudo leveled, what's next? Go ahead and start filling this thing. And in case you wonder what I'm filling it with, first layer is going to be boxes. That's right. We're putting boxes in. One, it's a great use. It's sustainability, one, but it's a great use of trash as opposed to filling up a landfill. And unfortunately, in the United States, the recycling system we have in place isn't as good as it potentially could be. So it's a great way to be sustainable, and then plus cost effective. So we're just going to line this whole bottom with cardboard box. One is going to keep the weeds down, so it acts as well, not natural, but it acts as a weed barrier. I don't have to go out and buy more fabric. Again, we're trying to be sustainable. We're trying to save money. So I can use these cardboard box to keep those weeds down. And the good thing about it is it'll biodegrade over time. So let's fill it with some boxes. There we go. All right. And another good thing about using boxes is, as far as composting goes, this acts as one of your brown layers too. If you know anything about composting, you want to add brown and green layers in your compost. Your brown layers are going to be things like your dried leaves. Your green layers are going to be, of course, your organic matter. Now, with us, we are actually pescatarians around here, so we don't have any meat organic matter. But if you were to use meat, to take in consideration that organic matter that comes from meat takes a lot longer to break down. And especially if it's cooked, you have any seasonings, any salts that you cooked with, that's going to be in the organic matter as well. So again, all we're doing is just lining. For those of you that just joined us, we're just lining the bottom of our planter box with boxes and fighting against the wind. This is a easy weed barrier without you having to go out in the house. All I'm doing is just taking and tearing this good old box up. You don't have any extra boxes around, do you? You don't order from Amazon like I do you? Ooh, that kind of sounds like a Juvenile song, huh? Y'all know Juvenile? Y'all know Juvenile. Everybody know Juvenile. Sound like the beginning of Huh. You be buying them packages from Amazon, huh? So yeah, since we have all these spare boxes, we're going to put them to work for us. All right. Looks like I need to go pick up some more boxes. Get this dirt off my blade. Now check this out. This is actually a Damascus blade I made a couple of months ago. So we're gonna go fill up on some more boxes to put down in the bed. In case you're wondering, I am pilfering boxes from my recycling bin. There we go. Yeah. We got a timing chain box. An old pizza box. There we go. That'll get her done. All right. So this is actually the box from a old timing chain. I am actually a mechanic as well. I have a mobile mechanic service by the name of Impressive Automotive. Look at Impressive Automotive. We have impressive parts, impressive service, and impressive pricing. This is actually an old pizza box. Yep. I'm gonna put it right down in our raised bed. So that now that we have our layer of pizza boxes in, our boxes in here, now we have a sufficient weed barrier. Just gonna break it up so we can move around a little bit. And now we're gonna backfill all this. In case you want to know what we're gonna backfill it with, first thing we're gonna start off with our leaves. It's great to use leaves when you're. It's funny because my brother-in-law came over a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Man, look at all this soil you have." That's right, because when leaves break down, they actually break down and actually form kind of like a soil compost for you. But the thing about it is, what you're supposed to do is you're actually supposed to shred the leaves up. Whole leaves, think about it. Biodegrading, it takes longer for it to break down. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some leaves and we're just going to rip them up and throw them in a garden box. Now, put this off just through a little bit. Let's see. Now, the good thing about these leaves, these are leaves that my kids and I raked up a couple of weeks ago. I am blessed with a plethora of trees on my property. And so since I have so many trees, I have ample amount of leaves. And my kids and I, we raked up all these leaves. And then, of course, they wanted to make it a pile that they can jump in. Well, I wasn't mad at that fact because by them jumping in the leaves, it helps rip the leaves up, tear them up so that I can put them in the raised bed garden. And what I'll do over the next couple of months is I'll just keep adding the leaves to this raised bed. because as it breaks down, it's helping me make compost for the garden. So yeah, the kids get to have fun and jump in and leave, but they're also helping with the biodegrading part of this process, and it's fun, right? After I leave, next we're gonna add a layer of sticks and branches. Now, of course, those take longer to break down because it's wood, but it will all biodegrade over time. And in case you're wondering what that was a trash can lid. Remember, we reuse over here. All right. Yeah, starting to fill up pretty good. In a moment, I'm going to take you on a tour of what it looks like so far. I just realized I did something, and y'all didn't call me on it. I'm kind of mad at y'all right now. I forgot to put my liner in. But one thing I want to mention too, we had rain a couple of days ago. Make sure the leaves that you're putting in are your dry leaves. You don't want to put wet, saturated leaves in there. That's going to do nothing but grow fungi. Unless you're trying to start a fungus garden, a garden with mushrooms. I'm not trying to grow them just yet. Just doing vegetables around here. Vegetables and flowers. All right, there we go. Let's take a look. As they say in Reading Rainbow, let's take a look inside a book. All right, so here we go. So we filled in with leaves. Next, we're going to add a layer of sticks. We're going to put our plastic lining in as well. And we're going to put in a layer of sticks so that we can build up this compost pile for the garden. So let's get to it. All right. All right. And there's that wind. There's it coming. That was a great angle, wasn't it? One thing about going live, you can't edit and you can't mess with the camera angles too much, huh? All right. So, up there's that wind. Look, see, it's pushing the camera around. All right, let's get some sticks up in here. And again, this is another opportunity where I had my children help me out. Just had them running around the yard picking up sticks. Plus, this kind of helps hold down your cardboard that you place in here as well. All right, let's see. More sticks. All right. And again, smaller pieces are better. They break down easier, adding that much needed nitrogen to your soil. Now, of course, we can add a heck of a lot more sticks in here. And I plan to over time. This is not something that needs to be taken all into one day. But what I'm going to do now is actually I'm going to start adding some organic matter. And the organic matter that I'm going to add, if you're new to the channel or you're not aware of this, is going to be chicken feces. I raise chickens. So I've actually bagged all these chicken dung up, and that's going right into this box. So now this is the nasty part. So if you're squeamish, you might want to look away. keep the live going. You know, I want to look away. Oh, that beautiful smell. Now, in case you're wondering why am I using chicken feces, one, my chickens are vegetarian. So chicken excrement and rabbit are like some of the best fertilizers you can use. One, it breaks down super quick. It's not like cow manure. Cow manure takes a long time to break down, and cow manure is actually not right for all type of vegetable gardens. But chicken is honestly one of the best manures you can use. I got some leaves in my gloves. So that's why I'm using it. And then plus, again, instead of filling up a landfill with chicken feces, I mean, use it, right? Sustainability. All them leaves got in my gloves. There we go. Let's try that again. This is going to be a fun process. Now, this chicken excrement also has their bedding in there as well. So you're talking about things like the cedar mulch um, or the hay, depending on the time of year that I use to line their chicken coop with. All that's in there as well. And don't worry, I got a whole trash can full, so it'll be more than enough for the whole entire planter box. And once we add that, since we're adding organic matter, the next step would be to add more more brown matter. So you put your brown layer. This chicken manure would be considered your green layer since it's organic matter, fresh organic matter. And then next would be add another brown layer, because when you're composting, you want to be able to layer it. Now, there's some people that, not some people, sometimes when composting, you want to turn your compost too. But I'm not going to do that in this raised bed. I'll just let it sit because I'm not trying to speed up the breakdown process. That's the only way you're trying to speed it up. And after I add that next layer, the next thing I'm going to add to it is my wood ash. That wood ash comes from my fireplace and my multiple fire pits. So I will add that as my next layer. And all of these are adding nutrients that plants crave. So again, just adding our chicken manure in there. Very thrilling and entertaining stuff, I assure you. All right. All right. All right. We definitely got more of that chicken manure to use, but we're going to get to that later. So, what have we learned today? Well, we learned the benefits of using raised beds. Why gardeners use raised beds. Why raised beds are a good idea when you're considering growing your own vegetable garden. We also learned about how to how to stack your layers when you're talking about building a compost bin. And we talked about the fact that you can use leaves, and as they break down, they will actually eventually turn into soil matter for your garden. But something else I want to talk about is growing on a small space. I know that it might be challenging for most. Let's face it, not everybody lives in a house with several acres of land. That's just the reality of the fact. As the world population grows, I think we're at 8 billion people right now. Space is becoming something few and far between. So, with that being said, here at Urban Garden, we really try to focus on being able to grow in a small space. And as you can see from this box, let's take a look at it, okay? As you can see from this box, it doesn't really take up a large profile. This whole area is about 6 feet by 6 feet. So this is a small planter box, but because of its shape, I'm maximizing all of the potential grow area here, and I can easily be able to access it. You don't have to have acres and acres and acres of land and a tractor to be able to do this. This is gardening. This is not farming, but you can actually grow your own food in a small space. Something else to think about is if you live in, for instance, like a apartment complex. Something else to think about is maybe growing indoors, setting up hydroponics, things like that. Everybody can grow. This is something all of our ancestors, whoever you are, wherever you're at in the world, this is something our ancestors, as civilization started to evolve, this is things they did already, and we can get back to it. It's a good thing to get back to nature. So again, like I'm saying, if you're growing in a small space, you can still do this. You can grow on your balcony. You can grow indoors. You can grow hydroponically. There's a plethora of ideas out there for you to be able to grow your own food. Um, I know a lot of people have been complaining about the price of groceries. Well, unfortunately, not to be a pessimist, but it's going to continue to grow. Grow. It's going to continue to grow up. It's go up. So you want to try to be as sustainable as possible, so that you're not relying on anyone else for your needs as a human being, as a person, as a family. So that's why we focus so hard here on growing for yourself, being sustainable, and growing on in a small space. Plus, growing on a budget too. Because let's face it, this hobby could easily get expensive if you allow it. You can easily go into your local hardware store and start picking up plants. I mean, think about it. If I pick up um, a seedling from one of my local planters, one of my local hardware stores, you're talking about $3 to $5. Um, well, how much is a head of lettuce? Do you get what I'm saying? It's actually more expensive to get that seedling than it is just to go to the grocery store and get a head of lettuce. So it's a lot easier for somebody to say, I'm not growing it. I can just get it there. Well, way you cut that cost down is grow from seeds. Yes, it does take time. It can be aggravating at times, especially when your seeds don't germinate. But if you start growing from seeds, let's say that bag of seeds costs you 25 cents. Yeah, but you got like maybe 100 plants in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's more cost effective. Oh, we got something in the chat. Let's see what we got there. Sustainability is key when the cost of food these days. Yes, constantly going up. So yeah, so we really try to focus on sustainability here at Urban Gardening with Gray. Um, I'm thinking with this planter box, what else I'm going to do is I'm going to eventually add some irrigation to it. I'm going to continue to add soil to it. So I think I will, instead of going live with the next installment of this, I'm going to maybe just do that as a long form content video and kind of give you guys updates. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button for me so you can get an update on how this planter box goes. Because eventually, I'm going to add rebar, almost fell, rebar all along these sides so that I can put a hoop house over the top. Because that's one thing I didn't discuss with you. What am I growing in this box? Duh, come on. So what I plan on growing in this box is I want to put all of my viney plants. Not all of them, but most of them. I'm talking about my cucumbers. I'm talking about my tomatoes. Even though they're not considered a viney plant, they get really big and they take a large amount of area, a lot of space. So I want them over here as well. Because one, the cucumbers, the squash, the beans, lentil seeds, and the tomatoes all relatively take the same type of soil. With the lentils, it does take a little bit of a sandy loam, but they should grow together nicely. They're not necessarily companion plants, but they still grow pretty big and take up a large amount of space. So what I want to do is have this hoop house go over this whole thing. So I'm going to probably make it about 7 feet tall so that I can easily walk in and out of it. And as my plants grow and start to vine, I can just come up and pick off what I need as it grows. Plus, as the viney plants start to grow, they will start to provide shade for anything that I have that's maybe a low light plant that doesn't need as much sun. Unfortunately, here in Texas, when we start getting out to the summer, we're talking about 102, 105s, 109s. We're talking about some high temperatures. So by having that amount of sun, they will provide shade. And I'm essentially creating a whole ecosystem of growing right here. So that's what's planning on going in this garden. I do have some sunflowers that are germinating. I haven't quite figured out where I'm gonna put the sunflowers. I was kind of thinking about putting the sunflowers on this side over here, facing to where the sun rises. Because what I'm thinking is the sunflowers, one, they're gonna love, because sunflowers love at least 8 to 12 hours of sun. They love as much sun as you can possibly get. I know it says 6 to 8, but really they love as much sun as they can possibly get. So I'm thinking pointing in this direction where the sun rises, and then possibly allowing the sunflowers as they grow to cast a little shade as well, to kind of cut down on the heat. Yeah, these sunflowers, I'm super excited about growing them. I can't wait to grow them. I've already started germinating them. They get up to 10 feet tall. So I can't wait to see that. But by applying that hoop house that I'm going to make over here, it's just going to be hoops that I'm going to make out of PVC, rebar in the side, and then I'm going to run chicken wire over the top. So it gives all of my viney plants something to vine onto. I may even do some of my strawberry watermelons over here, but you kind of need room for watermelons to run. So I'm going to try to run them across the top, but it might be a little bit too much weight. So we'll just kind of have to take it in stride and see. So again, if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe so that you can get those updates on those things that I'll be growing. Do you have any questions for me, folks? Questions? Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. No questions? Well, hey, this has been fun. Look out for more content to come. Look out for more live videos to come. I actually enjoy doing this. Next time, I'll be a lot more prepared. But this has been fun. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed spending time with you. One thing we like to say here at Urban Garden with Gray is enjoy life, enjoy family, and enjoy your garden. This has been fun. I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Aha, stop this thing. All right, let's see. That's what we got right here. See, look, I'm trying to end. Ooh, I can put filters on here. I didn't know that. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to end the. There we go. All right, we figured it out now.